tongue swelled on my tongue. It was more difficult than what she had captured. The falling light, the rind of limoncello, the tall, half-Korean, half-Russian vortex was holding my face hostage. Black-white heels, exquisite, tight leather pants. My friends have drifted far into the bathroom. Their faces, floating plastic coins, visible, blurry, pressed to the corridor of the bar doors. In the backdrop, the clinking drops of slot machines. My mouth was busy, my lungs were busy. She was going to take me home, first into her mouth and much later sprawled out on her condo. The Vegas light hadn't fallen, and the traffic had been halted by the soundtrack of 2 a.m. on repeat. She drank too much but drove me to her place anyway. "You're going to be safe, you're going to be safe," she kept on repeating, while swirling in her Forerunner. In a Vegas bathroom, she drank my gaze and in one glance offered me her entire wardrobe of feminine ardors, breasts, skin, thong, fingers, tongue, eyelashes. She had the perfect symmetry of east and west, submerged beneath. I had no idea what corridor to exit. Taking my hand into hers, she informed me that she used to be a circus performer, a contortionist who fit into a 9-inch box, and an elephant trainer, but now she was just a high-paid masseuse.
If writing doesn't work out, I'm going to become a bodybuilder.
On my hand while aiming for my lips, swollen with the polyamorous light flickering back and forth between the cracks of my teeth. She held my tongue in place for a very long time, as though my tongue was a stargazer that she must corner. At last, she released me back into the glittering disco light and asked me what kind of poetry I wrote, and if I had them memorized, and if so, if I didn't mind reciting.
If writing doesn't work out, I'm going to become a bodybuilder.
She had just, in one night, gambled away. Grand, her partner of 5 years, was never around. Her father died of pancreatic cancer. She poured this information out as if they were pocket change she must get rid of, as if they were a burden dangling in her slack pocket, or making too much noise and stirring the strides she made.
If writing doesn't work out, I'll become a bodybuilder. If writing doesn't work out, I'll become a bodybuilder.
To relieve the stress, I told her I would try not to be home tonight. My mother helped me dress. "If you must seduce a woman, this is the way to go about it," my mother informed me casually. Treating me professional like one of her clients, she donned me in high heels, dark clothes that spoke to my curves, and told me if I came home tonight, she might as well fold her business. It was her business to make women sexy. But her fucking was heartbreaking. She had changed into a cotton dress exhibiting her exquisite thighs, and she sprawled out on her sectional sofa. She wanted to watch La Vie en Rose at 2 a.m. with me, and so we watched La Vie en Rose at 2 a.m.
If writing doesn't work out, I'm going to become a bodybuilder. If writing doesn't work out, I'm going to become a bodybuilder. If writing doesn't work out, I'm going to become a bodybuilder.
I thought people just fucked and shuffled immediately into amnesia. I wasn't prepared for Edith Piaf and her, so we watched Edith Piaf and her sad, murmuring voice as it echoed through the different corridors of her condo like teabag chimes. She petted her cat, and I wondered what her partner, thinking deserting this intoxicating island for more circus life. I saw a few scars on her arms and wrists, fading lightly, and asked about their history. From training elephants, she informed me. Sometimes they had gotten close. She petted the forehead of the cat some more as she told me more about her childhood in the circus, Her mother and father did it, and they taught her, and so she did it. Her father died of pancreatic cancer, a horrible death, she told me, in so much pain. She sent money to her mother to help her cope, though she struggled with the domineering effect of her mother. There was so much wind in her voice as I listened. She spoke about her father, her bitter relationship with her mother some more. I felt like I leaned back into time, into a place where heartaches would no longer exist.
If writing doesn't work out, I'm going to become a bodybuilder.
This immaculate aura of her feminine exquisiteness, all there available for her partner, and I was there instead, a fable perhaps on a non-existent mantle of falling light. Though I had been drawn to women emotionally, she was the first woman I was drawn to sexually. In the most provocative way possible. I had come from Iowa, land of bovineness, cows, and white people. And Russian felt the hunger of my desire for her, or perhaps the music from the film had become too unbearable. She kissed and peeled me away layer by layer. She removed inch by inch of her dress, her height, her languished melancholy, and by then had already pinned me to the sofa. "Tell me what you want, and I please you," she kept on repeating, firmly and gently as she entered me. I remember her lifting her long finger from the curtain that hid my hierarchy of grief and pleasure and began to surround me with a silence. Much later, when my lungs had the capacity to develop their own photographic lenses, the vapor of sorrow I felt became my own pleasure. What she had done was trafficked my clitoris through enclosure by zooming in and out, making me exposed before exposure. In retrospect, after I studied what had happened to me, viscerally, literally, I had become a tripod of some sort, her fingers, the eye that pointed toward light and perception, and somewhere inside of me I deflected the images of ecstasy and melancholy and distilled them somewhere along the uterine wall. During her opening of me, perhaps it made room for Edith Piaf's voice to siphon itself into me as well. So perhaps what had been displayed in the theatrical uterine wall of mine was not a silent film of pain or pleasure, but perhaps an opera of hysterical beauty. Our pleasure brought me into her bedroom. The bed appeared as if it were on the floor, but upon closer inspection, in the bright Vegas morning, it was a very low platform made out of wood. The platform lifted the bed off the ground so it appeared as if it were floating like a boat. Empty water bottles were ubiquitously scattered. After pinning me down into the bed, she fell asleep. I stared up at the empty sky of her ceiling. I was experiencing an extreme degree of insomnia as the loneliness began to climb the rope of my body into the first chamber of my heart. I was incapable of flickering whatever was waiting for me outside of myself. If the tower was my left ventricle, then Rapunzel was the loneliness that the witch of experience was unable to impress. Had I known I would bloom this way, forever into the sultriness of loss, I would have allowed her to buy me the drink that brought me joy. Everything disappeared that night, except maybe that kiss that made my tongue feel like a stargazer. And maybe the way she entered me with her